like to say a little something about my good friend, Mr. Troy. My name is Bubba Branch out of Lakeland, Florida. My company is Atlas Heavy Haul. If I had a word to describe Mr. Troy, it would be encouraging. He was very encouraging all the time for me. That's one of the reasons why we're here today. He talked to me about showing this truck, and I'd always doubt myself, and he'd always hear me, and he'd always correct me about that and tell me to stop doing that. And he'd tell you why you shouldn't do it. And I just have to say, the first time I met him, we were in Wildwood, Florida at the truck show there. I was parked next to him, not in his class. I could never have attained that high, but he was there, and he spent hours talking to me, and like he had known me forever. And that was where our friendship began there, and we exchanged numbers, and all the way from buying English Bulldogs to trucking. That's what we talked about. And but the things I can tell you about him was when we would talk about family, and he would bring up Miss Huddleston and his girls and his family, period, he would just light up. I mean, he's a wonderful man and a great father, and he thought the world of his family and his friends. And this is part of his family too, all of us. And we knew that. He made that very clear to us. And we never second guessed that. Didn't matter what time of day or night it was. If you needed him, you could always call him. And that's just, we love him. We're gonna miss him. And he is our legend. He'll always live forever.
My name is Robert Hallahan with Hallahan Transport out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. I've known Troy for about 15 years, known him from shows, and he was an inspiration to me. The last few years, I got to be really close, I seen him almost every weekend, I did a lot of shows, and he taught me so much, and he was always willing to open up. If you had a question, he was always willing to help everybody. And I mean, he's a true legend. You could never replace the man. He's awesome.
I'm Donny Edmonds, Emmons and Sons Trucking. But I met Troy back in '91 over at Cowden. We hauled ammonia together about a year. And after that, me and Troy, we would talk on the phone, give me pointers about old freight liners. I mean, he's a good dude. He really was. And I got the call, I guess it's Tuesday, as a white trash customer from Dill McKinney. And I didn't know what to say. I mean, he's just shocked. And Dill same way. I mean, what could you say? He's a good fella. In my truck, I mean, I never felt it was good enough for shows and stuff, which, I mean, I ain't really ever won nothing, but Troy just said, hey, it ain't your time. I mean, everything come back to old school stuff. He said, you'll get it. Just hang in there. Keep going. But no, he's a good guy.
I'm Randy Victory with Randy Victory Trucking. I met Troy in Louisville one year. Me and him competed together, and he just got through with his red Freightliner, and I took my Pete down there, and I beat him in a couple classes. Then he come back out. Me and him was talking. He was looking at my old truck, and I told old Troy. He said, "I'm gonna come over and look at your truck." So he come over and looked at his. And I went and looked at mine. And I went over and looked at Troy's. So we went back to my truck. I told Troy, I said, Troy, you know what beat you, don't you? I said, look at the front of my truck, then look at the front of yours. He said, what are you talking about? I said, mine's a Peterbilt and yours is a Freightliner. Oh, he turned this as red as his truck did and walked off. And about 3 hours later, he come back and he hugged me. He said, man, ain't nothing against you. But he said, but I love my Freightliners. but yeah, I love old Troy to death. Me and him, we talk, and when he called all the time, and I was building a 359, I was telling him stuff I was doing with it to turn the sleeper around backwards. He said, oh, it never worked. And it worked. I sent him pictures, and he said, boy, you could have saved me a lot of work on them suicide doors. So, yeah, Troy, we love you, man. Wish you was here with us right now, and we gonna miss you. We definitely missing you right now.
I'm Terry Aslinger with Easy Living Express out of Mark 1, Missouri. First time I met Troy was about 8 years ago. We had got invited to a show up in Peoria, Illinois at the Midwest Truckers Association. It was the first time we had ever really done a show and didn't really know a lot, and took our kids up there. And anytime you're wrestling around a bunch of little kids around high dollar trucks, a lot of people's really anal. They don't want them looking at stuff, touching stuff. And Troy had his red Freightliner up there and had the doors chained on. It was the first time I'd ever seen anybody do that and all. And one of my little ones kept looking up there, and he said, tell her to go on up there and get, she can sit in there and get her picture taken. I was like, no, sir, they don't have to do that. And oh, yeah, he said, you let her do that. He knew that the kids was the future of our industry, and from the first time we met him up there, every time we sent him at a show after that, he treated my kids and myself like we were family. with my truck that I just am bringing down here for the first time since getting it redone. A lot of his influences went in on it. I put an old style sleeper on it, and I really wanted a set of star windows to match my theme, and those was real popular on the old vans, but you can't buy that stuff anymore. And I told him about my ideals on it, and he's like, man, he goes, I'm still a member of a lot of them van groups, because he always liked to build custom vans, and he made a post and helped me find 4 of them van windows that got it to what I wanted it. And he'll definitely be missed. He was a big influence, great family guy, and a great example to us all to what to be out here. And when we say we do these shows, because after doing them, you meet people like sitting on this trailer and like Troy, that becomes more like family than friends, and are a hell of a lot closer to you than what your actual blood family is in a lot of ways. And it's just a big influence to keep your focus looking up, keep you encouraged, and keep you loving what you do.
I'm T.W. McDermott. Met Troy, I guess, about the time Facebook got popular. Was friends with him there and grew into family. And if you could, you say, if you had one word to describe Troy, I'd say Elmer's. So he was kind of the glue that kind of held all this shit together, whether that's friendships or lack of friendships, or how to put your truck together and make it look cool, or how to keep your wife from wanting to kill you, or whatever. We've had a lot of good conversations, and he's going to be missed in this industry. But yeah, there's one of us, he's been everything from a chrome guidance guy to a marriage counselor to, hell, a referee probably at a couple of these events. But you can look around, you'll see people that don't like Freightliners, don't like Kenworth, don't like Peterbilt, or like, this, that, or the other. But you can look long and hard, you ain't going to find nobody that didn't like Troy. And whether they were Roadworks fans or not, they were Troy fans. The industry's going to miss him. He's like a brother to me. I'm damn sure going to miss him. Monday's going to be hard. I hope this is the longest weekend we have. I'm not looking forward to Monday. It's going to be a rough one. And it's going to be a rough one for everybody, but his kids have now got, this is a bunch of dads here on anything they'll ever need. And they're a beautiful family, and we've created a beautiful family in this game, and I enjoy every minute of it. And, like I said, we're going to miss him. He was a great one. If this is baseball, he'd been our Babe Ruth. We're going to love him and miss him forever. Here you go, brother.
Damn, how do I follow up that one? All right, I'm Kaleb Hammett, Hammett Excavation. First time I met Troy was back whenever I think it was, I can't remember what year it was, but it was the first year I actually got to take a truck to 4 states, and it ended up making the calendar. And me and him, we had to go at the same time to go get shot for the calendar, and we had a good old time and had fun and shot the crap and just had a good time. He didn't treat us like a stranger or an outcast. I mean, we was new to it, and he just welcomed us with open arms and everything. Well, fast forward to March, I got talked into going to Louisville, and I took my truck up there and everything, and I was underneath the truck touching some paint on the T-bar, and he walked up there and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, that voice sounds familiar. And I crawled up underneath, and I looked up, and it was Troy just sitting down there grinning, looking at me. He's like, well, you need to do it. And he started showing me what I needed to do, because I've never competed in a truck show like that and everything. And he spent a good 3 or 4 hours just showing me what I needed to do to help me. And I mean, I never would have figured from that photo shoot that man would have remembered who I was, being a nobody and everything else. But one thing about Troy, he never met a stranger, and he was always willing to share his knowledge with anybody at that. I mean, he always had a smile on his face, and he was just one heck of a good guy. And I mean, the short time that I known him, he became one of my really good friends. He was one of the very first people that really welcomed me into the show deal, and he won't be forgotten. I always considered him a really good friend, and he's definitely will be missed.
My name is Dean DeSantis, and I am the career gambler owner truck. and just saying a couple things here about Troy. You know, I kind of knew Troy more from a business standpoint. The parent company that I once was employed with had a subsidiary in Indianapolis where Troy provided services for that entity. And, you know, I just tell you from a business standpoint, you know, he was an upfront, honest, straight guy that was on time, you know, always did everything that he said he was going to do. I never heard a complaint. The people that were shipping the products and obviously counting on him to show up and the trucks to show up and be timely. He always did everything that he said he was going to do, just really a stand-up guy. And here recently at a show also in Missouri a couple months ago, I actually got to meet him for the first time. So the irony there being that, you know, we did business, but we really never had a personal relationship. And I got to meet him. You know, he was representing Roadworks. We had some questions and things that we had for Roadworks, and he was, you know, there to respond. And we got to know his family that weekend, which was kind of great. I mean, I'd like to remember all those positive things. It's kind of a travesty to understand what we're dealing with this week. It's going to be a terrible thing. You know, just way too young. I mean, when people start passing away at that age, it's just never a good thing. So, I mean, I'd like to, you know, just say to the family that our heart is with them, and hopefully, you know, you can find some closure to this. It's just a terrible situation, but what a stand-up guy, and he always represented himself very well.
Hi, Theresa DeSantis, The Witch is In. I knew Troy from a couple orders I've done with my bumpers and everything, and everything turned out perfect. They all knew me. He was willing to help, and I met him a couple months ago with my husband at a truck show, and just very nice. Told me about his stacks and new products, and just sad to hear he passed away.
I'm Wes and Cindy with Praireville. I would put it in words. The trucking world has suffered a huge loss. I got to know Troy through dealing with Roadworks, getting all my stainless chrome through them. Always a pleasure to deal with him. Just don't know how to sum it up in words. One heck of a guy.
It was truly an honor to call him our friend.